We need to look harder at these questions if we're ever going to find the real answers.
Any material that mankind hasn't managed to invent, a single material which lasts as well as this stuff. It's amazing, but we haven't done it yet.
These ancient sites are full of questions and mysteries that conventional archaeology cannot answer. And anyone who steps away from the usual explanations is dismissed as a crank. But the questions remain. Because rock carving cannot be accurately dated, there are no definitive answers. If we want to solve these mysteries, we need to keep an open mind. The Great Pyramid at Giza is in the center of all these ancient sites. Maybe Egypt holds the answers. It's time to go back to the pyramids, remembering what Sherlock Holmes taught us. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. In Egypt, a researcher who wished to remain anonymous gave us a trail to follow. The ancient Roman, Pliny the Elder, tells of arguments about who built the Great Pyramid. But of all the accounts that Pliny writes about, only one has survived. Herodotus' account is the only one we have left that tells us about the building of the Great Pyramid. It shows how little we really know. In 1859, an Englishman, John Taylor, discovered if you divided this dimension by this one, you got pi, the mathematical formula. This caused controversy at the time. Some people thought it was an accident. Could it be a coincidence that these particular dimensions give us pi, one of the building blocks of mathematics, science, and engineering? I asked my anonymous Egyptian researcher if he could explain why these dimensions were significant.
Because the half perimeter is the biggest horizontal visible dimension, and its height is the biggest vertical invisible dimension.
Pi is not the only significant number in the Great Pyramid. If we look at the dimensions of the various parts of the pyramid, each part can be multiplied by a whole number to give the total height. The surface of the four sides divided by the surface of the base equals the famous golden number, one of the key principles of aesthetics and design. The golden number is unique. These equations work with the golden number and only the golden number. The golden number occurs all over the natural world, in the shapes of plants, in astrology, in the proportions of the human form, in the proportions of great art.
The golden number appears to be a constant in the universe.
By dividing the half perimeter by the total height, we get the golden number squared.
And the golden number occurs again and again in the Great Pyramid. Ancient builders worked with a precision that modern architects would envy. Their achievements have never been bettered. All this can't be chance, because everywhere you look in the pyramid, you come across pi and the golden number. It's found in the visible pyramid, and it's there in the upper chamber.
Any detail that we see was intentional on the part of the designer and on the part of the builders, and there was nothing left to chance.
This is a controversial position, and many in the archaeological establishment would strongly disagree.
It seems extremely unlikely that Egyptians knew the value of pi. The golden number was also a relative unit, featured in pyramids and their temples. But it never occurs in Egyptian calculations. So this knowledge of the golden number is very surprising.
Many Egyptologists say the ancient Egyptians had no great mathematical skills, and all this number stuff is just coincidence. But here's a mathematician's opinion.
We meet it so often that the probability of it being due to chance is nil. It is infinitesimal to me. Frankly, it's like zero. It stands to reason, even for a mathematician, meaning someone who can assess probability, that the volume of that pyramid was picked because of its numerous possibilities to reveal through it the golden number.
I think that ancient Egyptians were aware of the golden number. They couldn't have come across the resolution each time, especially the perfect one. They had to possess that knowledge. It's not in their culture to divulge it. They kept it secret, and the best way to keep a secret is not to convey it anywhere.
It's no secret, it's simply closed. Geometry is the sensitive part of mathematics, and just like mathematics, it's a language.
The golden number, or golden ratio, often occurs in classical architecture. We can see it in great buildings like the Parthenon and many of our medieval cathedrals. Like the Great Pyramid, this cathedral shows the equinox. This circle indicates precisely the position of the sun on the horizon during the equinox. Even more extraordinary, the shape of the Great Pyramid is hidden in the facade of Strasbourg Cathedral, even though, when the cathedral was built, the Great Pyramid was still partly covered in sand.